We'll follow that, could I first join with others in expressing my sincere sympathies, Caoirleach, to you and the loss of your sister, and to our colleague Senator Coughlin on the loss of his mother. I'm very, very sorry to hear this very sad news, and I do just wish to extend sympathies on my own behalf and also on behalf of my colleagues. I know some of whom have already spoken. Could I also just commend Senators Nash and indeed Senator Gavin also for their work in support of the SIP2 healthcare workers. I know others have spoken on that, and I was glad to come out and support them myself earlier today. But Caoirleach, I really just want to speak about the dreadful case of Majella Moynihan, and just to commend her on her immense bravery in coming out and speaking about the horrific injustice she suffered at the hands of the state, at the hands of her superiors in Garda Síochána, at the terrible wrong that was done to her, indeed to her child, the coerced adoption and indeed the interrogation and threatened dismissal, and all of her treatment at the hands of her superiors. And something that's been highlighted in a piece about her case today by Orla O'Connor of the National Women's Council, where she points out that after suffering all of this injustice, Ms Moynihan was then denied access to information that she sought from within the Gardaí, denied access to information on file. And I think her case, her treatment, the injustice that was done to her, and then the difficulties she had accessing information should all be borne in mind by all of us in debating the Adoption Information and Tracing Bill. And we commenced committee stage consideration last week, but it became very clear very quickly that the Minister's amendments really fall far short of what is required to be done in the interests of not only the adopted people, but also birth mothers, and indeed all of us in Irish society need to ensure that we have a robust framework that is sufficiently protective of the human rights of those involved, the women and children to whom the state did such injustice. And I think the Minister Suppose needs to reflect, and the government need to reflect on the injustice that's been highlighted by the Moynihan case, and reflect on what it says about us as a society, and what it says about how we should construct the legal framework in the Adoption Information Tracing Bill. I and my Labour colleagues have put forward an amendment seeking to address some of the very serious flaws in the Minister's bill, but I think that we need to really take some serious time to consider, to engage in dialogue with the Adoption Rights Alliance and others before we can progress the bill, really, given what we know now about injustices done to so many women forced or coerced or compelled to hand up children for adoption.
Well, good.